Alright, this is Kage DQT coming at you with an extensive review of Dragon Quest I. I have played the ever-loving fuck out of this game for quite some days and have juggled it with tact as well. I'm so entrenched in this game, I didn't even do like our podcast this weekend. Yeah, okay, we're going to go over a lot here, as opposed to some people who just kind of dip their toe into these games, give some outlandish statement, and then move on and delete guilds and things of that nature. We're actually going to go over everything here today. I will start with a couple of cons that have plagued not just this game, but even Tact and possibly even Dragon Quest of the Stars. And the major one that, I've seen a pattern on is the pricing model. Now, the gem model, D, it always gives you exactly under 3k gems, and then you'll notice that there will be these nice little packs for 3k gems, making you have to buy an additional pack or look to just buy a higher pack at that point. So that's been a gripe. That's not with Dena, the company running this game, and that's not with Aiming running Dragon Quest TAC, who both have the same package. That's at you, Square Enix, because why would these two separate companies have the same business model? That's what you have in place. So that's not a dig at either one of these companies. That's specifically aimed at the parent company, because that's on you. That's your guys doing there. Let's be honest. If this was the same company doing it, maybe hey, I'd look at it differently. But that's on you guys, and that's a little bullshit. Some other cons, I'm just going to throw these out here, is when doing missions, there is no rematch, restart to them. Sometimes you could be doing a mission looking for a specific item, and then you're done, and it's like, okay, which mission was I doing again? I have to go through a list, and I have to find it. Now, it's not as bad when you're doing a mission like, let's say here, where there's only 2 in the pool. I'll do this mission, and then once I'm done, it'll instantly... It's one of the 2, but when there's a list of 11 or 12, that's a pain in the ass to find that one again. So you do have to kind of pay attention to that. In terms of the battle, the auto is very intuitive. You can play with the auto in a number of different ways. You can have the auto set to where they don't use special moves, where they don't use the character change, which personally I keep the character change off. I like to do a hybrid where I'll swap a character in if I need them, and I'll only let the auto work for the one character that's on the field. You'll always have the 2 side characters. In this case, we have Heineken and Pop. They'll be doing their own thing, and you could trigger their special abilities or save them, and those will come into play for the boss battles. There is some you can play early on with the auto. I'd say comfortably up to about chapter 4. Once you start getting into the actual fight against Heineken, as that gets more difficult, you'll start noticing that you may want to actually play the game a bit and work on doing combo strategies, things of that nature, to go ahead and advance and get through the story. That would be one thing I would say there. Now here, I've already outclassed this fight. This isn't really going to be much. He's going to knock him down. He's going to be insta-dead. It's not even much of a thing. But chaining together special moves is the way to go. And it is definitely the way to go. Especially on major fights, there'll be things you can knock the enemy into, like boulders. That'll create windows to attack them. And, that can help you really win some of those stronger fights later on when the battles get pretty rough. And then, let's see here. Bond levels are important. Lower end bond levels like 3, 5, I believe. Those unlock souls. You want to add more souls. You want to work on more resonance. And we'll go over that in a minute. Those are the main things. Bond goes up to level 10. Currently, there is no real incentive, aside from the bond board, to get bond levels up. I didn't see anything. I went through all the character levels on Crocodile just to see. I was very curious. I was like, what happens if we get it to 10 and we do the character missions? And it's nothing really major there. And then as you'll notice, there's no rematch button. It's going to kick you right back out. And it's like, well, which one was I working on here? Another good thing I like about this game, though, is, switching over to a pro, stamina refreshes are a set 50 gems. No matter how many times you do it, it will always be 50 gems. And it will be based off of your max stam. So if you have 80 max, you spend 50 gems, you get 80 stam. You have 60 stam, you get 60 stam. I haven't seen any increase. I've done it a bunch of times. I've lost track at some points, and I've been able to grind like crazy. So that would be one thing, is where you can play this game as much as you want, as long as you have the gems, which that is a solid thing. Let's move on to the pity system in this game, because this is one of the most important things. Now, pity is based off the amount of times you do any of these specific banners. The 5 I have here are from free keys I got through doing the event missions. I got some keys. They even counted the free ones. They're not like some other games where if it's free, if it's a ticket, it doesn't count towards pity. You only have to spend. Here, they do it completely differently. You get up to 100, and then you get a guaranteed 4-star from that banner, whatever's in that banner. Now, mind you, the provision rates for the treasure points, that's 16% pickup for the best item, but I mean, you could still end up getting something else. You could easily end up getting another weapon or getting an armor, so I mean, you could still get burned by that, but you are able to get a 4-star with 30k or more on the pity. I say more because if you get any 4-star item, it just only doesn't count that 1 point. So you can get, let's say, 3 4-star items in 100, and that would put you at 97 points. Then you would just need to do 3 more to get the treasure point. We'll make a note of this, though. If you do any of these, they do go away at the end of the banner. So this banner's only lasting for 7 days. If you have accumulated for it, I'd not be looking to rush into it. It's, I wouldn't do it. Here I've got 25 left. That's essentially 3 pulls, and I'll have a guaranteed 4-star. So that's pretty good. The other thing I like about this game is they have what's called these souls, and every day you get one for free. So you have a chance to get a 4-star for free, and that also counts. I've done 1 pull on this, and I think we're on day 8. So I've gotten 8 towards the counter, and those were all free. Those were all single pulls, which is great. And these help towards strengthening your characters. We'll go over more of what souls are in a minute. Now, mind you, this game is a little bit different because you earn the characters through either doing story missions or event missions, and then the real power lies in getting their specific weapons. I will tell you this now, if you can get a weapon duped up from like a character set, it's broken. It's like stupidly powerful. It's because of 2 things. So we'll go over that as well. There's also a couple more freebies they do here. You get 2 advertisements a day, free pull draw, you can get gems, other things there. And then you've also got the normal treasure hunt, which I haven't seen anything good out of that. But let's get into just how broken some of these things are. So my guy has a pretty good weapon. Its weapon is, maxed out. His special ability is level 3. So with that ability, its might has been increased a ton, which I guess that's based off power. And also I've noticed, I don't know if this happened at level 2 or 3, but his ability is auto-charged at the start of the match. Like, not as opposed to any other specials. It's auto ready to go. That is broken. Like, especially if I'm doing like a multi run for some of the guildies. I helped out Pack earlier. I was like, just go in there, insta-dude dies, Arvon stress, and boom, and then it's dead, and it's like 4 seconds done. It's broken. It is very, very broken. So it's not just The weapon, though, mind you, it's also the special ability. Now, as you notice here, if I were to get 3 more, pull another dupe, I would get that leveled up, but there's currently no way for me to get that aside from here with these exchanges, and this doesn't seem like a good route to go so far. That's 33,300. It's like 20 bronze tokens for a 2-star pull. So yeah, that's a lot. That's not something you're going to be looking at, and that's only for one scroll. So again, that's not feasible. So I don't expect most people to get over maybe level 1 for the specials, or maybe level 2. And some of these specials are better than others, but they all have their uses. Like Crocodine's, I would say the best thing I have for Crocodine would be, because of his high crit rate, if you're doing some challenge missions for the growth, you'll be able to get a better chance of killing some more slimes because it has a chance to crit. So if it charges up, you've got some slimes still ready to be attacked. You throw that at them, you have a good chance to get a couple of them caught with a crit and getting some extra XP. That's the best thing I've seen for his skill so far. Now, there's also the, upgrading the skills themselves, and these start off simple, and they get crazy. Like level 2, okay, I need 15 of this scroll, I need 25k gold, great. I want to get level 6, I need 120 of this scroll, and I need 1 million gold. Now, I could easily farm up 120 of this scroll. That's not, it'll take me a little while, but it's doable. It's just the 1 million gold is, yeah, I could be spending that on other stuff. But and these skills are very good to have upgraded a bit. You get, the higher the skill, you'll notice I can use 3 of those in one go. And the more skills you can use for a character, the faster their special ability charges. So it's, you want to have those abilities leveled up. Like notice here, Earth Slash is only 2. I need 10 more. Next level I should be able to get a 3 stock for it. So there's a lot of benefits in that regard. And then of course you can make your own skills as well. There's other moves here that I haven't gotten that I can make. Like if we were to get 5, we would be able to make Mom's best healing ability, which is great. Essentially if you get her weapon, you automatically get the ability too. And then there's other elemental attacks, like a fire attack you can get, and some other sword attacks and shield attacks that you can make. There's some other stuff there. Now, let's see here. There's a bunch of other stuff too. Trophies, these come in a little bit later. You'll get these from the hall. And by grinding these up, it's interesting because they have, there's only the one right now. I think you could even get a gold version, but it'll be a minute there. But this has beast damage extra, and this you can equip with every team you have. So it's very, you can use it for whatever setup as many times as you want. You don't have to get multiples of it. And I think this goes to like 22% if you max it to 5. Faint resistance I haven't seen any use for yet, but maybe it'll come into play later. But the trophies are pretty good to have. You definitely want to get those when you can. But that's the only one right now. There'll probably be more later. The skill crystals. Now these are interesting because this is kind of like equipment alchemy in Dragon Quest Hack, only it's based off of one at a time. So here we are. You can choose to pull on one. Here I only have 1% better I can get. And I think on here I can get to 2%. So let's see. We've got 10. Let's do 5 on this one and see what we draw. And of course it costs 100 gold a pop. Nothing major. Physical attack 8. No, nothing new, so we can keep the one we have. And then let's try the other one. Let's see. Let's go back in. And let's see if we can get... Maybe we'll get to 25% here. And no. Okay. But I don't lose anything. I get to keep the bonus I have. And I get to plug and play with these. Now, the other things about these are... There's a couple of different things you can do with these. You can do what's called channel, which is going to essentially, you're going to use these soul crystal shards to up the ranking, and the highest the ranking can go is 4. So you'll notice that this Arvon is actually a level 4, and it has slightly higher stats than the 3 in terms of the power-ups. And then of course there's normal upgrading, which if you have any, you can just level these up, and that helps with the resonance level. Now, the resonance level is interesting because it ups the stats of the characters themselves. So we'll go over here and we'll take a look at, let's take a look at Dai. Dai's resonance level is 85%. Now I just upped that. Each one has the same color at least once, so that is also good. You'll also notice that there's a special border shining around the lower character, which is Dai's grandfather. He has a special bond with that character, so that character gives a better resonance because of that. So there's certain characters in the game that others that you're equipping for will have better relationships with, and they'll get a higher resonance bonus. Now this character, if you get this with this setup, is really good for Dai because, I mean, the stats are not bad at all. It's got physical attack, it's got slash damage increase, and it's also got physical, damage that you can have reduction for. So it's a really good setup for him. And then with the resonance bonus, it's also increasing his power by 365. So I don't know if it'll show me more in terms of what that does. It doesn't look like it will, but if I get it to 100, it'll increase that number even further. It'll be max resonance. And at this point, the only real way I could do that is if I were to rank up either Crocodine's soul or Grandpa Brass's soul there, which, well, that's going to be a minute. But those do come into play. You can even use multiples, it seems like, as well. I haven't seen any downside to it. Like, I have 2 Avons on Pop. I've got the 4-star one, and you'll notice a slight difference, 13% for his magic attack, and then 12% for the rank up. Nothing too crazy, but it definitely boosted the resonance, and I mean, he's got a special relationship with Avon, so I mean that boosts up the resonance as well, and his powers increase because of that. So that just shows you there how that system works a little bit. And again, those are all, you do have to pull for them as well. You can just do the free ones every day, where you can do a couple there. It's kind of hard because you do want to get gear for your characters. Gear is important in this game. I mean, gear is very important. Just being able to, I have a bunch of these. Let's see if we can, you haven't even put a dent into this level. Yeah, we got a long way to go. Okay. Gear is very important. If you can get, evolutions on gear, go for it. Combining dupes. You do have to be careful, though, because you may have some characters who are going to want to use the same set of gear. Like, if you have a 4-star chest piece, you're probably going to want to make sure that everybody who can use one has it, because the stats are a little wonky here. Like, let's just go over to, let's look here. So Avon's got a chest piece on, so let's look at that. Let's go take a look at that team here. So he's got a chest piece on, and that chest piece is 5144, and that's got an evolution level of 1, so it's up to 20. Well, even though it's evolved 1, the dragon piece just wins every day. There's no comparing to it. And then, can I actually give him a better shield? Probably could. I don't really care, though, because I'm just leveling him up on the side. But yeah, it's one of those things where the gear really makes a difference. Now, the other thing here, this is where you're going to spend the most of your materials and time in, is the boards. The board system itself. And of course, as you get more characters, Heineken has 2 different boards. He's got one for his event form, and then he's got one for his story form that you get, and they've both got their own panels. They've got a bunch of different things here. And as you go, you start off with a basic board, and then after, I think, 21, you unlock the first board. And you have to essentially just work your way to the blue panels and get the requirement mats to level them up, which is generally these these character orbs, you need them, and then as it gets further in, you need other little crystals to advance as well. So it does get, as you can see here, 250. This is for if I want to go from 70 to 80. I don't think these red crystals are anywhere in the game yet, so I think the current cap for the game would be about 70. And even the other crystals, the gold ones, are kind of limited, so you may not be able to get very many characters to that 70 cap, but I'll let you in on a secret. It's not exactly easy to level past 50. There's also some other things that really take note on these panels. There are some special panels as well. You may see some that have stupid requirements for materials, but then when you look at them, you notice here, okay, this panel has 36 attack to it. Well, then you can go down over here and you'll see, let's take a look at, let's say, like this panel here, this attack is 6, or this attack here is the special panel is actually 8, but it's for every die style. So when more versions of die get added in, you'll be able to get some extra. Oh, let me actually grab this. Hold on a second. You'll be able to get some extra stats out of it too. So it's not bad at all. Can I get this one as well? No. Okay, I don't have enough for that one. But these add to your power. These add to your stats. These are very important. I mean, grab as many of these as you can as you go. But the thing you have to keep in mind is, it's what characters do you want to work on? What do you want to build towards? Like, I don't really use a healer, so I've been full brute force, but I've kind of been able to get away with it with my luck with the die dagger being maxed. I mean, I'm able to be a lot more offensive. At some point, I'm going to have to get Mom up or get another healer and really work towards a better synergy, but because of how the gear is structured for die, I've got some pretty good offense with him. I'm just going all in with full offense, and I chose to let him go to 70 as my, one character right now for the mats I have, and I'm just going to clean out his board and get as much of the stats as possible. Now, on your main character, however, it's a little bit different because your main character has the ability to switch vocations. Like, you can tailor your main character to a different class. Like mine, I've left that hero for right now. I've powered it through. I've gotten warrior and mage up just to get the beginner quest done. There were some beginner quests that give you a bunch of gems if you complete them. 2 of the requirements were to get warrior and mage to level 20. Other than that, I haven't really touched them, but these boards are here, and I'm sure if I wanted to go in and work on them at some point down the road, I would be able to, get some extra bonus stats, but I'm not really too concerned about that right now in terms of min-maxing. The main things I've been focusing on are just farming mats and just kind of get some levels and get, most of my main players up to unlock that next board that I showed off for you, the 51 board, because that unlocks a different set of materials to be used and has a lot of good bonuses. Now here, you'll see you get bond levels. Each character has a bond, and you can, even Heineken, since he has 2 characters, that's 2 bond levels, and these effects worked out to give you some good stats. 45 is most likely the best one here. I mean, even 35 if you have a good mage setup. 50 is and I'll figure out soon enough if there is a 55 and just unlocks after, or if we have to wait for more content. We'll see at that point. We don't really know just yet. But that's the main thing here. There's also character quests too that can be done. I will tell you this right now, aside from getting some gems and a couple of materials, the character quests don't do shit. Like I thought, if I get Crocodile to Bond 10, which is the max again, I would be able to get something cool out of it. Well, I mean, the best reward I got was some of these silver materials that I don't have any use for right now. I think they're in the next, well actually let's see if they're even in the next panel. I'm actually very curious now. Let's take a look real quick, because we can see what. Let's take a look at his board, and we'll see if they're actually in any of those panels, which I don't think they are, but I could be wrong. Still uses that? That's interesting. Oh, nope, there's, okay, fair enough. There's 5 here. And the only way to get them right now is through a quest completion or through the Chapter 2 extra quest. Okay, so they do have some use. Fair enough. Fair enough, game. Okay. But that won't be until, well, this is the 61 board, which I'm not getting here anytime soon. It's going to be a minute. Because, again, I'm out of those gold, and I don't have anything else here I can do with them. So I'm a little locked in that regard. But it is what it is there. So, essentially, there's a lot to do in this game in terms of grinding. Like this, you're not going to hit max level in a week with this game. You're not going to hit max level in a month in this game. I mean, it slows down dramatically after 40, and it does get a lot tougher. Like, we just got died of 51 a little while ago, and we'll see how much XP he needs to get to the next level. I'm curious. Although, I'm not that curious because I really don't want to know, but 17,000. Most stages, you get about 100. It's not ideal. Now, mind you, there are these challenge stages here that do help every day. There are, like in Dragon Quest Tact, there is dailies you can do, as well as the event stages, and the growth trials are pretty good. You just can't skip them. You have to, you have to do them even if you have a 3-star. You have to do these missions, and the first time you do them, you'll get an extra ticket, so that'll be good. But you can get like 7 to 10k XP, maybe more, out of the final one, the final growth mission. Which, well, even now, as I showed you, that's still half a level at that point in time. So there's not really. It's gonna be a minute. it's gonna be a minute before I break into the 61 board. It's just not happening right now. It's just gonna be time, which is fine. But in terms of content for the missions, you've got, challenge, you've got the growth, you've got equipment stones, gold, and of course all the materials right now. There may be more unlocked later when we get some more boards, because there is question mark stuff, but I think that's beyond level 80 whenever they decide to up the cap later, which they already have the groundwork for in there. We already see it, so that's kind of cool. And then there's the Hall of Perdition, which is for the trophies. And of course you have the event missions as well. High Nichols 1 is 7 days left. If you can, get that done. Exchange out what you can, get that situated. The multiplayer missions, there's a little bit of bugs with them right now. Sometimes they disconnect. Sometimes people can't get into your room. The upside to all that is, though, whatever is spent, if the mission is not done, you do not lose the tickets. And you also don't lose the stam if anything happens either. So there's a complete refund back of everything you spent, so you lose nothing, which is great. Because, again, I've played games where I've lost stam plenty, just experimenting and playing around. It's like, well, it's my risk, but, I'd rather play a game where I don't lose anything, which here we have, so that's great. And, we don't lose the tickets. The other thing is the story is broken up into a couple of different areas. You got the character quest that's bond-related. You've got Bonding Journey, which is kind of like your introduction, and then it has some farming missions you can do later on, where you can get some equipment in advance, equipment plus stones to help with leveling gear, and then you can get some of the higher end stones to help with the 51 plus board at that point. And those, it's weird how they gauge the power for these, because these are 9k fights, but then if you wanted to get these same materials on the story, you're looking at like 13 to 15k power fights. So it's very weird how they gauge that. But if you're looking to get those without having to go in terms of a tougher fight, that would be one way to do it. And then, of course, the story itself, we've got 4 chapters currently. I think Chapter 5 is going to launch around October 18th, and that's going to be with the next major big bad, which is, I forget what his name is, Fazad, I forget what it is. I just know he's the dual elemental guy, and he wasn't around very long. He got taken out pretty early on in the anime. Spoiler alert. But each chapter has 3 modes. There's EX quest form that are progressively harder. This one's ridiculously hard. And then Chapter 4 even has a secret extra quest 2, which, again, these are all kind of ridiculous. They're I'm still got a ways to go. Like, even my best team is, 15.1 now. Well, it's not bad. We've come up a way. Well, then again, we boost our guys up a bit. I still need to get die up a little bit more, but we'll do that soon. And there's a decent amount of content here. There's a decent amount to do. I wouldn't say there's a ton. I mean, I do like the fact that we have guilds in this game that people can join and, like, invite people to do rooms and multis. And it sucks that the cap only goes to 30, but it is what it is in that regard. Like, I think it stops growing after like level 5 or 6. And I think the max cap level or the max cap alliance level is 15, so maybe when we get higher up it'll unlock more. But for right now, the only real benefit is you get some stam every day. I think level 8 we were getting like 25, 27 stam extra a day, nothing crazy. But we'll see what happens when we get higher up, because I'm sure they're going to add more to this. And I mean, there's also another battle mode of some kind coming down the road that hasn't been added yet. So we've got a couple of things here that they've already got the groundwork in the game for. We've got that question mark mode, and then we've also got the, let me see if I can show you one. I know somebody has it. Yeah, this question mark stuff here. So this has to be an extra board of some kind, so that'll come down the road, and panel will be available in a later update. Okay, so they've got some good stuff here. And then, of course, you've got your run-of-the-mill achievements. They've got plenty of different achievements to work on here in terms of the events. You can get, normal mission achievements, and then, well, whatever these are later on. So there's some stuff here. Now, I've also under the impression that Japan got this the same time as us, so we are on par with the Japanese version. We get stuff the same time as them. There's not really any crazy surprises or things we can kind of look forward to, like super in the future. So I like that. We don't know what's really fully coming. And overall, I gave this game probably about a 7 out of 10. I mean, again, a couple of things. The rematch button not being there could be done. There could also be some things in terms of maybe letting people refund some of their board choices, because some of these characters you may actually regret investing in, because you may have rolled and gotten a bunch of really good stuff for a couple other characters, and early on you need to invest in what you can to advance in the story. So I mean, maybe giving back people half of what they spend, something like that, that'd be great. That would be my advice, to them in terms of feedback. But I mean, realistically, it's not a bad game. It's pretty simple to start. The shop is even, isn't that egregious. I mean, I've already gotten the packs. I did those packs. The only pack I really didn't touch was this one here for $7.99, because I mean, the scrolls are kind of, you get these scrolls no problem. Gold is pretty easy to get later on. I don't know if the gems are actually worth $7.99. I have to look at that real quick. No, they're really. I guess. Well, not really a great pack. The other ones, they were all pretty good. I wouldn't say if you were looking to spend, grabbing the the guaranteed 4-star packs, those are good. I mean, the 100K pack for like, what was it, two gold isn't bad. I mean, later on you're gonna have plenty of gold, but to start off that could help. And otherwise, I mean, I'm not really sure how they're making a lot of money on this game, because there's not a lot of incentive to spend right now. Now maybe that'll change with this company, but I mean, the main thing I've spent on is stam refreshes, and just doing 50 a pop isn't that big a deal. I mean, I could easily drop a good chunk of money in here and just grind all day if I wanted to, which, well, we'll see at some point on that. But otherwise, thank you guys for joining. If you do have any questions, if you do have anything else you'd like me to show in this game or go over in terms of like battles or things of that nature, or some other stuff, let me know. And if you want my ass to get back to doing some Dragon Quest stuff as well, I'm working on some stuff there too, but I just need to get motivated. But anyway, thank you again for joining, guys. Have a good night. Take care.